All right. So I just I've seen a lot about this subject in the media and social media lately, so I just wanted to talk about it a little to see if anybody um, thought about it the same way I did. Uh, it's the subject is uh, Muslims and ISIS, also known as Daesh, I think. They don't like being called that, so I'm going to call them that as much as possible because I hate them. Anyway, so we get this whole thing with, I suppose, the left, if you want to call it that. I know I'm sounding a little, what's the word? Well, I don't know the word, but one of those people who blame the left for everything. So you have the left um, saying things like Islamophobia and, people not liking Muslims. Then you have the right saying that Muslims shouldn't be coming into this country, we shouldn't take refugees, um, and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say my take on it, and if anybody sees this and has the same sort of idea or wants to talk to me about it a little, I'd like to speak with you. Um, you can just contact me via Facebook. Is it via or via? Whatever. Anyway, so first thing that I was going to say is that it's mainly about the right. My opinions, well, I mean, they're sort of leftist opinions, I suppose, is the proper way to say it. So I'll be talking about the right's opinions, like right wing, by the way, in case you didn't understand that. So first off, I'm sort of defending Muslims who aren't a part of Daesh. So first off, not all Muslims are a part of the Daesh. I know this is going to sound like not all feminists or not all men if you dislike one of those, but it's true. Um, in fact, the Daesh have killed more Muslims than anyone else, I believe. If I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me. Um, Also, only around less than like 5% of Muslims are a part of Daesh, and that's under 1 million. So, it's not that big. Plus, there are something like a billion Muslims in the world, something like that. So you have those who aren't even a part of it. Of course, you'd say they might still be violent or hate non-believers or whatever, but that's not the subject I'm tackling right now. Then of course you have Muslim Islam is a religion, not a race. So anybody from anywhere can be Muslim. I know some people will think that's I don't know, cultural appropriation or something like that. But anyway, there are white Muslims, there are black Muslims, there are of course Middle Eastern Muslims. I think the country with the most Muslims is Indonesia, which you don't hear about a lot when talking about the Daesh, which is weird. But anyway, so the Pew Research Center, I think there was a study from spring 2015. I have my notes over there, just in case you were wondering. This Research Center had a study or survey um, about what Muslims in general thought of the Daesh. And they found that it was overwhelmingly negative, and that most Muslims, do not, in fact, like uh, Islamic extremists. Obviously, there are those who aren't even a part of Daesh who still support them, but considering that they found negative opinions a lot more frequent than indifferent opinions or positive opinions, then I suppose it shows something that you can't blame all Muslims for Daesh. Obviously, they are still Muslim. They all still represent a part of Islam, like how radical feminists still represent a part of feminism, whether or not they are not actually feminists. So that's obviously something that I won't ignore, and something, that is sort of important. But anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, there's this organization called, I'm gonna butcher this name, Nahdlatul Ulama. Anyway, I think it's an Indonesian group. There are over 50 million members, and basically they're all about, well, not all about, I don't think. They're about condemning Muslim extremists and trying to show the tolerance in Islam and how it's not a violent religion and it's a religion of peace. So 50 million is a lot. I don't know. Obviously, not every single member will have the same views, but if they're a part of that group, then they obviously share the basic views of the organization, and that's one of their big views, from what I can remember. All right. So you shouldn't be afraid of Muslims. You shouldn't be banning all of them from coming to our country. They've lived here for a really long time already, so I don't know why you would start banning them now. And of course, you have people, well, mainly Trump. You have people suggesting internment camps and stuff like that, like the Japanese with World War II, I think. Um, that was a mistake, in case you forgot that in history class. That was not a good decision of the United States. So that's not something you should be advocating. All right. Last thing I want to say, or I want to talk about, is why do people, why do you never hear about these groups, and the fact that, less than 5% of Muslims are extremists? Well, I mean, you do see it sometimes, but on the news and all that, other than, the Daily Show or stuff like that, you have people talking about Islamic extremists and all that. You also have people talking about not to blame Islam, but what you really don't hear about is the statistics, less than 5% of Muslims, and the organizations that are against it. I don't know why. I mean, if you were defending Islam, then you should be talking about those who are actively against Islamic extremism and are still Muslim, rather than just saying not to blame all Muslims. I mean, it's still true that you shouldn't. Just like you shouldn't blame all men, you shouldn't blame all feminists, whatever. I forgot my point, but basically, you shouldn't blame all Muslims. And why you never hear about it is because the media thrives on sensationalism. I know that sounds conspiracy theorist, but think about it. It's why Trump gets so much attention, because of all the stuff that he says that a lot of people dislike. He says all these really big things about his views. He's not afraid to express himself clearly in many different ways. Um, so the media, that's why the media. That's why the the movement Gamergate was seen as a hate movement, because that was like the best way to get more people to like you, was through talking about it like that, because you see people agreeing with that, and there are a lot of people who did. So like, it's blown out of proportion, and sure, there are shitty people in Gamergate, whatever, but it was perceived as a hate movement because that's what people want to read, that's what people want to watch, that's what the media wants to tell you. Um, yeah, I know it sounds conspiracy theorist, but still, I mean, sensationalism is big in our society. And then lastly, I was going to say, oh, not lastly, but it's also why charities aren't really talked about a lot in the news. I know they will have some good stuff about it, but it's not as much as there should be. You know what I mean? Um, it's sort of why that whole "I've lost faith in humanity and I don't want to live on this planet anymore" stuff has happened, because media's focused on all these bad aspects of a reality. And sure, we should know about it, but we should also know the big good things that um sorry, I thought I heard someone outside. Um Obviously the whole lost faith in humanity stuff is more social things rather than the media outright saying it, but it's still something that's prevalent, that's persistent in our culture and in the media and stuff like that. All right. So, thanks for taking the time to watch at least a little bit of my video. Um, Normally, I don't do a lot of videos like this. I normally do gaming, and it's mainly been about Gamergate and all that. But thank you for watching. I might make more videos about other things as long as my anxiety doesn't act up too much. But anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to me if you want to know more about my beliefs or something, or if you want to just disagree with me or whatever. So yeah, bye.